Alright, there's some big breaking news coming in. The Nagaland government has responded to the Ministry of Home Affairs query on the Dimapur lynching. Now what we have is a shocking revelation. The state government in its reply claims that there was no rape. Now the Nagaland government report to the Home Ministry says there was no rape, it was consensual sex. The victim earlier claimed that she was raped and was offered 5,000 rupees to keep mum. She had spoken in fact exclusively to Headlines Today and admitted that there was a forced rape on her. Well, that's the latest coming out. This is a huge twist.
Given the fact that there have been disturbed reports that there was a demand from money, I know it's a disturbing question also, but what is the truth, if you could speak that out?
That's totally a false allegation. That very night he gave me an amount of 5,000 rupees to let me keep silent, and he threatened me to kill and expose the entire incident to all. So I was afraid of my life. So I took the money and handed it over to the police the very morning. So it is totally a false allegation.
The Nagaland government in its reply to the Home Ministry's query has now come out and said it's not a case of rape, it was a case of consensual sex. We have Kamalji joining us on the phone line. Kamalji, this is a huge twist to the entire case.
Well, definitely. So a huge setback as far as the people were concerned. It was mob justice which was being done, a public hanging which was to be done, but obviously the crowd lynched this particular man even before they could do anything to him. So definitely, even as Nagaland has sent a report, a detailed report to Ministry of Home Affairs, a Northeast Department, clearly they're saying prima facie it appears that there was no rape which had taken place, only consensual sex. This goes to show that this kind of mob justice has no place in democracy, and many are obviously saying, remember, law and order remains a state subject. So it's always left to the state to respond to a particular situation. And remember, there is investigation on in this particular case. More than 40 people have been booked, but definitely a terrible thing to happen to a man who's not been accused of the things that he was supposed to. He's been accused and charged of.
But the big question then is, Kamaljeet, why the delay in ascertaining whether this was a case of rape or not?
As a matter of fact, if you would remember, there has been a certain change in terms of law, especially after Nirbhaya rape case. If there is a woman who does approach the law of the land and obviously does accuse a man of rape charges, there has to be a certain booking which has to be done.
Yes.
And that is why the police does have to investigate the charges first. And then obviously there has to be a registration of a serious case of FIR. There is obviously a medical test and there are a couple of procedures which are put in place. But remember, the mob fury was such that this man was taken out of the jail. He was beaten, he was lynched to death even before the police could act. And remember, there was restraint shown by Nagaland police, who told MHA in its earlier report that they did show restraint because there were a lot of women and children who were outside.
Yes.
And later they did fire a shot in which one person was killed. But definitely a serious situation at hand, considering what is coming to light right now is extremely serious. Saying this was a matter of consensual sex. There was also an exchange of money which had taken place. Remember, the woman herself is confessing that she did receive 5,000 rupees. But definitely at this point of time, serious charges being slapped on the people who had lynched this particular man. And remember, there is a video evidence of that which is very much available. Nagaland police will be investigating that, but they have submitted a report to Ministry of Home Affairs.
Kamalji, do stay with me. Well, there's one truth and two versions coming out. Let's once again listen into the victim's statement that she had given to Manogya Loiwala, correspondent.
Given the fact that there have been disturbed reports that there was a demand from money, I know it's a disturbing question also, but what is the truth, if you could speak that out?
That's totally a false allegation. That very night he gave me an amount of 5,000 rupees to let me keep silent, and he threatened me to kill and expose the entire incident to all. So I was afraid of my life. So I took the money and handed it over to the police the very morning. So it is totally a false allegation.
Kamalji, this only goes to vindicate the stand that the brother of the deceased and suspect in this case has been taking ever since the incident took place.
Well, definitely, there's always been criticism which is coming in even from the Assam government from which this person really belonged to. They've always been saying that there has been no rape which has taken place, and yes, seems to be a tension between Nagaland and Assam in any case. So yes, as far as the investigation is concerned, as far as the relatives of the deceased are concerned, they had voiced their concerns regarding this. And that is why the investigation was done. And as per the investigation and as per the report sent by the Nagaland government to the center, they are obviously saying it, and they say prima facie it does appear that this is a case of consensual sex. Goes to show there was much more to that particular story, and it is never too good for the people to take law into their own hands. There is a justice system which is prevalent, and obviously now there would be a case which would be pursued against all those people who did that particular lynching.
Absolutely. Kamaljeet, what are your sources within the Home Ministry telling you? What's the way forward after this massive twist that has now appeared?
Vedika, particularly in a federal structure, law and order remains a state subject. So it is the state of Nagaland which will go through that particular investigation. The Nagaland police pursue this particular case. But remember, there have been advisories which have been sent from time to time, including on the cases of how to deal with northeastern people and including on rape cases, and generally the sensitivity of gender aspects. But definitely in a case like this, Ministry of Home Affairs has already sent an advisory to be very cautious as far as dealing with such cases are concerned. Remember, Rajnath Singh has spoken to the CM of Nagaland, had offered paramilitary assistance. But yes, in a case like this, where Nagaland police was completely and overwhelmed by this particular mob, it goes to show that the Nagaland continues to be a very sensitive state and is a point of focus at this point of time.
All right, Kamaljeet, thanks for joining us. Well, that's the latest coming out from Delhi, as well as developments that have taken place in Nagaland over the Dimapur lynching case. The Nagaland government has replied to the report that the Home Ministry sought from it, and in that reply lies a massive twist, because the Nagaland government has come out and said that the suspect who was lynched to death by that angry mob in fact did not rape the girl. Well, that's the version from the Nagaland government. News and updates in minutes from now.